Well, hey, Cole, what's up, brother?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Partying, dude. Rocking on to the break of dawn. What are you doing?
I'm sitting in my car right now, just talking to you.
Not doing that. Very cool. So what's up?
So I guess my question is, how do I reconnect or reconcile my relationship with my father that I haven't really spoken to in over a year, and we had kind of a on and off again relationship throughout my childhood. Now that I'm a father, I guess I'm kind of looking for whether he should be a part of my life and my child's life and how to go about that.
Why'd y'all quit talking to each other a year ago?
Honestly, I mean, the thing that made me just kind of stop responding was he had sent me a text that just said, "Hello to the son that never texts his father, never talks to his father." And that was after a long period of trying to connect with him after I moved out of state, try to go on vacations with him or see him when I came back into town. And it was just never convenient, never the right time, just never happened. And so I felt like he wasn't really interested in a relationship. And then phone communication kind of cut down, and eventually he sent me that text and I just stopped talking to him, but I've been kind of feeling guilty about it.
Has he been guilt tripping you your whole life?
Not really a guilt trip. He just would disappear kind of for, a month at a time and then kind of reappear.
Where'd he go?
Well, so him and my mom split up when I was about 5 or 6, and he lived close by. He lived like 10 or 15 minutes away, and he had full visitation with through the divorce and everything. But he, I think he just had a problem with alcohol and depression. And my mom would tell me when I was a teenager, he would kind of go around the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, I don't buy that. He made a choice to not get well. Because I have too many friends and family that have been to hell and back because they're not going to miss their kid's life. Right?
Yeah. I know he always tried to be, I think my problem with him was he never really tried to be a parent. Once they split up, he would try to be kind of the cool friend with a car and money. And so a lot of the memories I have with him from a child are actually good memories. It would be, we'd go to a baseball game or we'd go fishing or we'd go see a movie or something. But it was always after that, it's like, okay, we're going to send you back home and go back to your real life. And, I'll see you in another week or two to do something fun together.
So fast forward to now. Why are you feeling guilty?
I guess I'm feeling guilty because he's getting older. He was 50 when I was born, and I just turned 30, so he's going to be 81 this year, and he's not in the greatest health. And my stepmother has been kind of reaching out to me over Facebook and asking me why I don't talk to him anymore and what happened, and they just don't understand. I guess, I don't know. I don't want to get a call in the middle of the night that says he's passed, and I kind of miss my opportunity to reconnect with him.
I guess I'm kind of torn, man, because that goes both ways. And I'm not 80, and my son's not 30, right? So I can't speak for your dad, but I know this. Like, my son took a math final this morning, and he's really been struggling, and he hit a home run. He did great. And every bit of me wants to get in my car and drive over to the school and just hug him because I'm so proud of him. And the fact that your dad has never gotten in his car, he just sends these Hail Mary, passive-aggressive, middle school romance texts to you blaming you for everything, and he hadn't gotten in his car and knocked on your door and said, I miss my son, which is his job as dad. It's not the kid's job to heal these relationships. It's the parent's job. I hate that for you. So I'm torn because I can't put myself in his psychology. Now, my son, over a period of 20 years, said, I don't want you around in my life. I don't like you. I don't want you to be there. And again, if you sat down with him, he might tell you, I knew life was hell. I knew I was struggling with alcohol and depression. And so I wanted to I wanted to see you smile. So I took you to games and I took you to this. Maybe I'd be willing to bet that would be his side of the story. And now that you're 30, you're saying, I just wanted my dad. And he's going to say, I just wanted to see my son smile because I broke his heart. I get everybody's everything, right? There's all different 360 degrees to this thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's come up to that my daughter is 5 now. So, sorry. No,
you're all right. What do you hope to accomplish? If you hope to accomplish just not feeling guilty, don't do this. If there's a chance that you can make peace with your old man and bring peace to your future great grandkids because you put a stop to this sort of behavior in a family system, and there's going to be I drove a long, long way to get a 4-generation picture before my granddad passed away with my dad and my son and me and my granddad. And it was worth it.
Sure.
I'll have a photo for the rest of my life. My granddad was an unfathomably good man, right? I needed that photo. So if that's what you need, cool. If you want your daughter to know her granddad and he's going to write her letters and whatever, cool. If he can do that. But if you feel like you need to do this just in case you're going to get a phone call in the middle of the night, then you're going to be chasing ghosts. He's going to sniff that out 100 miles away.
Yeah, I think maybe the biggest thing is I wish that I would have had more guidance from him
and you
on
didn't.
How to be a father.
And you didn't. And you didn't.
Yeah.
He can't be that for you. You can grieve that and have your heart broken by that, but he can't be that for you. And that doesn't lessen your responsibility to go find men who are 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years ahead of you to seek their guidance and wisdom. Because you need that. None of us can be good dads by ourselves. We need older, wiser men in our lives.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I feel like I'm missing at this point is all of my friends. I'm the first one of my friends to be raising kids, and feel like everybody that I'm friends with is mostly around my same age. So there's kind of a lack of that older male.
Do you have a couple of buddies that their dads are pretty awesome?
I have one, yeah.
I think it'd be pretty awesome if you called his dad up and said, hey, my dad left when I was a kid, and I'm finding myself over my head. Can I call you every once in a while? That might be one of the most honorable phone calls I think another man could get.
You think that would feel like a burden to him because he already has?
It would be the greatest gift you
kids.
It'd be the greatest gift you could give him. If you called me and told me, well, here's just the honest to God truth. You know, I talk about all the time. I take my kid to breakfast every Tuesday. We went this morning. It's Tuesday as I'm recording this show. We went this morning. Got up early. I skipped my workout. We went. I'm catching a plane to go to Connecticut tonight, right? So, we got this breakfast in. I got that from Dave, my boss. You know why? Because I like his son is amazing. And he's a funny guy, and he's just a hilarious guy to be around, and he's a great leader, and he's a person of integrity, and he's married well, and his kids are, and I thought, I want my son to grow up like that. And if this is what we need to do, this is what we need, right? So I'm taking these from everybody. And I tell you what, when I looked at Dave and said, here's the fruit, I'm going to start copying some things you did. Yeah, that's one of the greatest honors another man can receive. You call that guy and say, you raised an amazing son and I need some help. Can I call you every once in a while for some guidance? Dude, what a gift. What an amazing gift.
Yeah, I think you're right. We actually, he's a guy that we go hunting with every year. He's kind of the pack leader for our little hunting party. So we have a little bit of a rapport already. I think that might be the move.
I think that would be awesome. And ask him, will you mind checking in on me every month just to see how I'm doing? And I want you to see where I'm headed with this, because we're going to separate these things. I'm going to say this with all due respect and just get right down to the brass tacks. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Your dad cashed out his fatherly wisdom, his fatherly relationship with you. He cashed it out. He was sick. He was struggling. He chose not to take some different tracks, whatever. He cashed that out. And you have to go get that. I wish you didn't, but you do. And you already have another man down the road from you that you have a picture of. That would be a guy I could call, which is amazing. And that will free you to go have a relationship, a different kind of relationship with your dad in his last few years of life. And do you see how it will release the pressure on that?
Yeah, that would be a huge relief, actually, to not feel the pressure like I need to get some kind of lost time or wisdom from him.
There's not a secret. He's going to be like, all right, now that you're back, here you go. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't have that. But he could be a great guy who loves you, who did the best he could with the tools he had in the toolkit. And in retrospect, was it right? Was it good? No. It was a mess.
Yeah.
But I think in our culture, we do one of two things with our parents. We either hold them to retrospective standards, and we create these mega boundaries, and we cut people out of our lives. We don't just honor them for who they are. And that sometimes that means we have to grieve certain things. And we don't go do the necessary work we got to do. That doesn't mean you can parent by yourself just because your dad cashed out. That means you got to go find somebody. So it's both and. But I think, man, you make that call and get that settled up with that other guy. That's awesome. That is awesome. My dad was an amazing detective and police officer, SWAT guy. And then he became a really extraordinary minister. And now he's a professor. He has never been a YouTuber. He's never had to do media calls. He's never had to hop on a plane and fly to Connecticut for 12 hours and fly home. He's never done that. And so I have to have other people in my life to get that wisdom from. My dad never packed up and moved across the country. So when I did that with my young kids, I had to call some other men in my life that I trust to get that wisdom. How do I do this? How do I do this the right way? And I don't ask things of my dad that's unfair for me to ask of him or that he can't provide. So I'm going to make peace with that. Will you make that call to that other father this week?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that'll give you a lot of peace, man.
Do you think it's worth, as far as my own dad, just me being the one that initiates, like, hey, I'm going to come into town, and if you're around, I'd love to see you.
Nope.
Talk about what happened.
I think you go one step further. I think you let your stepmom know, I'm not doing electronic communication anymore. I'm coming to town. And you call your dad and say, Dad, I'm going to be at such and such a restaurant at noon on this day. I'd like to buy you lunch. I have some things I want to say. And I think when you sit down, I think you can look him in the eye and say, Dad, I've got no interest in rehashing what happened, what's in the past, what's in any of that stuff. You're my dad. I love you. I want you to know your grandkids. And I'm doing the best I can to raise them well and to be a person of honor by our last name. And I want you in their life. And I want you in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And here's the deal, Cole. He may say no. He may cash out again.
That would suck.
It would. It would. But you will sleep at night knowing I did everything with honor and integrity, and I was respectful to my old man. And he might break down in tears at that table and say, I've been waiting for this my whole life. I'm sorry. And if he starts to bring up, well, you didn't, I'd be like, Dad, I'm 30. I'm a new dad. I'm trying to figure this out on the run. I'm sorry. I'm interested in moving forward.
Yeah.
And you can just cut the conversation off and tell him, if you're not interested in moving forward, then that's fine. But I'm not interested in having old conversations.
Yeah.
And he might just, and you might ask him, can I give you a hug? When's the last time you hugged your dad?
Been 3 years, three or 4 years maybe.
Maybe start there. Dad, can we get weird for a minute? Can I just give my dad a hug? What? Right? Wait,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I just want to give my dad a hug. Because you got somebody walking alongside you now. And it can't be him. It's not going to be him. And that's okay. And we're going to grieve it. I think you've been grieving it for 30 years. And now I'm just going to be respectful and honorable. And by the way, for people listening, if there's abuse involved, there's physical abuse, sexual abuse, this doesn't apply. This is a different track. This is a dad that struggled with addiction, who left, who tried, who sounds like he was just doing his best and he just best wasn't good. And now is old and is alone and misses his son and knows there's grandkids and doesn't have the tools to reach back across the aisle. Yet he's withering away because he can't reach across the aisle. And so if I'm not using another person for oxygen, if I've got other people that I can rely on, man, I'm going to reach back across and say, hey, man, you only got a few years left. I'd love to spend them getting to know each other moving forward. Is that the way it was drawn up? Nope. That's the way it's going to be. And I'm going to choose reality, and I'm going to go from there and make the best of that situation. I'm grateful for you, Brother Cole. Thanks for thinking that through with me and let me think out loud a little bit. Here's what's important. You're a good man. You're a good dad. And you're a great son. You're all those things. And you, my brother, get to choose what happens next.